Zeri has made it through, and instantly Gala locks it in.
They must have a plan with the fact that they let this one open. They didn't in game one. I wonder if they're going to try and pick something that goes with the Yuumi itself, or if it opens up for... We were just talking about this. Wanting to see JackeyLove go towards the signature pick. Please, please, don't do this, or do this, but also give us the Draven. There's something more fun than seeing JackeyLove on the Draven.
Yeah, the question to me is, like, do you take away the Yuumi and play it with something else? Like, there are other champions that compare with a Yuumi. Like, I remember one of the original pairings was actually the Lucian. But alas, it was not meant to be. It will be an Aphelios locked in with the Wukong. So, very exciting drafting here coming out from Top Esports. Not what you would have expected at all. That was tough.
And again, I am just very surprised. You would think if they were going to give over the Zeri that they would do either what you said, you take away the human, you put it with something else again. Lucian, Jhin, Twitch, Ezreal kind of being some other pairings that it goes with. Or you opt into something a little bit out of pocket like the Draven, or if they had some other plan. But looks like they will go stock and standard so far. So I feel like LNG are set up with such an incredibly strong first 3 picks. Like, I don't even have to even see the rest of the draft to be pretty scared. For the side of TES, so much mobility, so much.
We're not even a minute in this time, and he's already saying it's over.
I'm already
not finished draft. Yeah, I mean, I agree. I agree. It is a very strong draft. Don't get me wrong.
This is the nice part about being back in the States, because last week I was mostly casting from the UKs. Now I'm back to casting at 6 a.m., which is where the crazy mental hours come in, and you start to say things that are a little bit off the rails, which honestly makes the games a little bit more fun,
All right, well, looking forward to more loopy lyric as the day goes on. Or should I say evening goes on for you? Or is it morning? I don't even know. I've lost track.
It's morning.
Nice. Oh, good morning, lyric. Welcome to Kha'Zix banned away by Top Esports, as well as the Lee Sin. I'm not sure we've actually seen a Lee Sin yet this split. I could be wrong there, but I believe we've yet to see it. But Tarzan would certainly be one of the players to bring it out.
Yeah, we've seen it banned a few times, but not picked just yet.
But second mid lane banned away. Rookie loses his Syndra.
Yeah, now you're kind of going into the trenches of your champion pool with what you really can bring out, and I think do decently into any. I mean, these have been the meta picks that we've seen so far, unless they wanted to opt into, like, I guess the Lissandra for themselves, which is something we haven't seen from them just quite yet, but with Syndra and Ahri banned, I mean, what else can they do?
Yep.
Nothing much.
Okay. They are literally just drafting the composition that LNG beat them with in game 1. I will just throw that in there. Like, oh wait, was that Vi or was that Wukong? No, it was Wukong.
I was going to say.
No, it was Vi. It was Vi.
Game 1 was Vi. This was the game 2 comp that they actually lost with. So I don't know if Top Esports now just want to be very extra, very over the top and be like, yo, you just lost with this comp. We're going to show you exactly how it's done. I guess it would require them to lock in the Sion on last pick, but now I wonder where LNG will go. They kind of want some frontline themselves. I feel like you have really strong damage, so actually wouldn't even be surprised if they just lock in the Sion right now. You have great setup for the Yuumi already coming out with the Zeri and the Viego. Now it feels like you just need something to be able to absorb that damage and buy space.
That would be a treat, wouldn't it? If we got Zika playing Sion and Wayward playing Gragas, that would be so. I've not seen that in minutes at this point. So, but no, Zika brings out the Jax to take to Wayward. Wayward obviously going to lock in the Gragas. Gragas typically does very well into the Jax already, and I think Wayward was probably already thinking of playing the Gragas. So, very standard composition for Top Esports. Kind of taking a leaf out of LNG's book, whereas Zika bringing out a bit of carry threat for himself on the top side.
And I like what LNG put together. We already hit on it after the first 3 picks, which was a strong core, but you have Viego to double down even more on some of the bursts coming out from your Annie to set up for the resets. You have Jax, who's just going to be such an annoyance the longer the game goes on, because sure, Groggs can deal with him early. We know later on he should be able to do a ton, to where for the side of Top Esports, I mean, you have a lot of ways to engage. You have the ability to peel, but I feel like there's just so much mobility coming out from the Zeri Yuumi that it should be really hard to lock her down and find those engages and find those fights that you're looking for.
Yeah, it should be an interesting one, I'm going to be honest. I feel like both teams have clear win conditions. I feel like both teams have actually a pretty pretty decent composition for themselves, and it is going to be down to execution, which, you know, best of 3, game number 3, with 2 great teams like this, you want it to be down to execution. You want it to be down to a clash of styles as opposed to both playing the same style and one team just has the better version of it.
That is always the best, but I might already just be too jaded by some of the champions in the meta where it's just like, it feels like Zeri does just dodge out on so much of what TS can do. But when you have Rookie, when you have Tian on these champions that do have great pick-off potential, I'm never going to count out them being able to find their way onto that back line and hopefully burst Gala out before he is able to really take advantage of what he can do. So, Rookie, we need you to step up, and Tian just got to do what he did last game. Easy.
Yeah.
You know, I want
does.
to take it a step further, Munch. Not only are they winning Worlds, Step 1, they're winning the series. Step 2, the split. Step 3, Worlds. Step 4, actually conquering the world. We're going even further.
How did Zika just get a gold? What just happened there? There was like a... What is going on? Am I losing my mind? Is there a new mechanic in the game where you can just get 1 gold from a blue thing?
Bro, it's Jax.
Does Jax always get 1 gold from blue things?
Yeah, when you're out of combat, you're fishing. You know, that was a change that was made. I can't remember when that change was made, but you know when he's just standing in River now, he fishes and he gets 1 gold.
I genuinely, when was that put in the game? I had no idea that was a thing.
Yeah, I don't know. I just remember it sometime within the last few years. And now Jax is, the master fisherman for 1 gold. Very, very pointless change, but
yeah,
pretty
kind
funny.
of funny because that's like a skin for Jax as well, the fisherman, right? Like, I knew Jax was a fisherman in that skin. I didn't realize he was just Mr. Fish. Speaking of, they're fishing for a pick in the mid lane. Rookie the target. Big damage, but not enough to force out the flash. And he does have that corrupted potion, so will be able to sustain back up.
Not a great start for Rookie, but especially when we were just highlighting him as one of the members who really needs to deliver. But Tian, wanting to find early impact on this game. Again, they had to have something in mind if they were willing to give over this S-tier duo. And, he's just going to circumvent bot completely and look for the 1v1.
Yeah, might be able to steal this away. Is he looking for a smite or is he looking for a fight here? Tarzan, half HP at this point as he moves closer. Tian forces him out of the jungle. The jungle camp taken by Tarzan, though. He gets away with it, gets the red buff. Will be chased out of his jungle here. Perhaps could lose his Krugs, but honestly, if you're Tarzan, you're happy with the way that went.
100%. I feel like for Tian, shouldn't have even hesitated to turn around and maybe auto red buff that one time. Just keep chasing Tarzan out of jungle. I guess you got to be afraid with us seeing Scout having that prio could turn around and easily try to take advantage. But yeah, so it ultimately just going to be a bit of wasted time on Tian's part to where Tarzan now level 3 up in terms of camps completed. And now going to try and work his way into Tian's side of the jungle. He might be able to just take away the red buff if he ends up pathing towards that top side.
Are they going to dive mid here? Rookie could be in trouble. Does have his flash. There we go. Claw of Doom out to safety, but he's losing so much CS there to the tower. Still going to be fairly even between the 2 players. Zika was proxy farming previously. We'll just go for the resets. Tian finishes that Gromp and hits level 3. Will be able to get himself a Scuttle Crab, but he's losing his red buff in the meantime.
So does end up losing out on even more pressure generated in mid as well, with Rookie having to back off a little bit, so probably losing out on some gold in that exchange. And now I like how they keep playing around this, right? Keep having Scout lean up towards top side, keep getting more vision down, but can Tian punish?
He's going to try. The Scout will walk away. Rookie couldn't quite get a range to get the root off. And he will just shove this wave in. Perhaps try and find a way to leverage that pressure somewhere else, as Gala going to be clearing away. And I feel like based on what we've seen in this series, it's a pretty reasonable expectation to have a fairly slow early game, right? We've seen that both of these teams are, taking the series extremely seriously. They know that this is, every point matters. Neither of these teams has a huge amount of championship points to rely on when it comes to making it to Worlds. Every single series is going to matter because that could be the difference between making it to Worlds or not. So both of them coming in, treating this with the respect that it should be treated with, and it does mean that we're headed towards late game team fights once more.
Especially just when you look at the amount of caliber rosters we have, right? With teams like OMG stepping up, BLG massively stepping up, not only in LPL in spring, but then at MSI, JDG, EDG, Weibo theoretically upgrading their roster in terms of adding Wayway and now potentially, you know, having more options in that jungle role. RNG just had a great debut. Like, there's seriously just so many teams contending for the top
Honestly,
slots.
it's a really exciting split for LPL because not only is it like in terms of the actual rosters, like this year, there are so many stacked rosters just on paper. Like, we just went to MSI and BLG made it into MSI finals. That's an insane like marker for the region. That's the first time that LPL have ever had a double LPL final. Obviously, it's the first MSI that's ever happened because that's the first MSI that's ever been possible to happen. But like at Worlds, there's been a million Worlds where it was double LCK in the finals, whereas LPL's never had that privilege. So it's an exciting time to be watching LPL.
Yeah, really just showing, I mean, at the beginning of the year, our talent really concentrating towards the top. And we hit on the amount of roster changes we've had mid-split. Like, that's only happening more and more as the split goes on. Kind of bringing us back in, right? Dragon now being on the table. We really need to keep our eyes on, like, who is able to generate that priority in mid and bot. So far, it has been Scout mostly taking the upper hand in those trades. So if they can do that again, we can already see Tarzan making his way down towards the bot side. If they can try and influence that, maybe make their way into River, would be a great start for them to get their hands on a neutral objective.
Yeah, it could be a good start for them. Tarzan moving down, but whether or not he can actually start anything off. In fact, he's looking towards mid lane. But this is one of the things about Lissandra is, like, not the longest range champion. Rookie could be in trouble, has his ultimate available, but holds on to it for the time being as Zika kicked straight out of the 1v1 by Wayward's cask.
Good patience by Tarzan, and by Rookie, honestly. Tarzan not wasting anything on the plane. Rookie also knowing he didn't have to use his ult, anything along those lines. So nothing really going to be gained. Generate more pressure and allow Tarzan to more freely just walk towards spot. He knows Scout will just keep generating pressure in mid with the health that Rookie has lost. And with him leaning down, if Gala can start pushing this out, we can see it will just lead to Tarzan starting up the straight.
Certainly will. Good start for LNG, as they should be able to grab themselves this neutral objective. I don't think there's much of a contest available, but Tian moving into the area. I mean, he's a level down. Surely this is not a fight that you want to take against a level 6 Viego. Resets galore available, but it could be just a smite off. As the bottom lane for top esports managing to get a bit of pressure in the bottom side. And they have actually stopped LNG from doing the Drake. They stopped the reset, at least partially. And it will be top esports that manage to fight their way onto the scene.
I think the two big things are, one, I mean, Scout not having his ult from the previous play in mid lane. And then two, JackeyLove managing to hit 6 first, which is really what kind of dissuaded and pushed Gala and hung away, opening up for Evan to roam into River.
Now Gala trying to get some damage down. He's not level 6 though. JackeyLove's just going to go for this one. Tian in the area. Gala will get himself underneath that tower. It's kind of incredible how little damage Gala took there. But the exhaust was used by him.
Yeah. Exhaust used, Ghost now down. Mark only expending the flash on that one to really try to make sure that they can cement that play. Sadly, in the end, nothing will happen. But now it's about Rift Herald, which I guess LNG will just get for free as our observers pan to this, with the fact that top esports using their tempo to try to make a play on bot side. But hell, if JackeyLove can get even more plates out of this, might just end up once again being a worthwhile trade going towards a team that didn't pick up the Herald.
Yeah, I mean, that's 2 plates already. Potentially looking at a third if they can keep this up. This is one of the things that feels so good when you've got Calibrum in the laning phases of Phelios. Like, you can get so... It's like you get to play Caitlyn for 2 minutes. Like, the amount of lane pressure that you get from the green gun is just insane.
Yeah, and especially when this meta, I guess Zeri not being one of them necessarily, but when this meta does have so many, like, long-range AD carries, like the Jinx, like the Kog'Maw, you know, coming in, being able to rely on that gun, is kind of one of the ways that Aphelios has been able to stay a staple in the meta. Not even just in the meta, throughout so many different metas, right? It really feels like ever since Aphelios has been introduced in the game, even when he like falls out, he falls out maybe for a patch, maybe not even a whole patch before AD carries default back to him. We're like, oh hey, he's still able to contend.
he's still got the power of 200 years worth of game development experience behind him. Yeah, always going to be a strong AD carry unless they really got him. It feels the same with Zeri, right? Where like, there have been nerfs towards Zeri, but she's still incredibly strong. And
do you remember when she got released and
she feels stronger?
She was nerfed she was nerfed like 4 or 5 patches in a row when she got released, and it didn't change anything. Oh,
hang on, that's going to be a nerf straight to Scout as he's taken down. And Mark even gets an assist on that one as well. JackeyLove in trouble in the bottom side himself. Flashes, but gets flashed on. Gala happy to dive the tower, and Hung escapes as well.
Esports dedicating so many resources to mid. Mark roaming over. Gala and Hung recognizing they need to take advantage. They need to dive the AD carry. So ends up being a trade. No one to pick up the CS in bot side. Looks like Mark finally going to get there to where at least Tarzan was able to pick up this wave in mid. So less resources lost on the side of LNG.
Ooh, Hung nearly died there. Hung actually took tower aggro. He's like 100 HP. And will walk away with his life, but it's a little close. Is Mark going to try and stop the resets? We'll be able to do so. Zika still trying to proxy, but Tian is here to punish. There is no Cyclone available, but I don't know if there's a way out of this one for Zika. It's already going to be at least an assist. Oh,
no!
Flashes the cask. Wayward gets him out. Here's a bus ticket, mate. Go on.
Yeah, Zika, I mean, looked like he had no hope of escape. Great flash by him. Like we can blame Wayward for that all day long, but flash had to come through as we go back to the play on mid. No hesitation at all coming from the members of Top Esports, even rotating Mark up just for the extra insurance to make sure it goes down. But that's why it's good that LNG recognized the need to pull the trigger here. And why, honestly, just very over-ambitious for JackeyLove to be playing in the wave when not only is his support going mid, right? His support is showing on mid, which, of course, you know, LNG, they're not idiots. They know, hey, this is the time we must go in.
And you're against Gala. Like, of all of the players in the league that are going to make a play, if there's anything we learned this series, it's Gala's going to be the one to make that play. And clearly showing that once again. Mark, that is not your territory right now, or is it? Because Tian is here to buy space and time. Cyclone comes in, rookie moving over as well. Won't commit to the play, but that's going to be 2 ultimates used on the side of LNG. I think it was 2 for 2 though, because Mark has the wild growth as well.
I do like that Mark starts to walk out, walks back in, is like, I'll just CC them by ulting myself. Always appreciate support, so, you know, just look to take the fights into their own hands, even when there aren't champions that necessarily don't do it.
Yeah.
It fits his new persona, his new LPL picture. You know, there's a lot of confidence in that picture.
There is. There's a lot of vibes in that picture. It has to be said. JackeyLove, in the meantime, just wailing on this tower. That's going to be 3 plates taken against 2 in the bottom lane. Zika was kind of dominating the matchup earlier on, but no longer the case, as Wayward has finished his mythic and is starting to get the best of the matchup. Zika should be getting close to his own mythic, though, as this will be a second Drake for Top Esports unless Tarzan has something to say about it, but I don't think he'll have a chance to say anything. Tian finishes that one off. It's a nice little dragon stack to start things off for top. And on top of that, they're getting themselves a couple of tower plates in the top lane. So everything looking pretty good for Top Esports.
And I mean, a lot of this presence coming out from top side after, you know, the overstay from Zika. Like you said, a large part of it, the mythic being finished off for Wayward as well. But yeah, I feel like losing a bit of that advantage top side is going to feel a little bit bad. But the one thing I'll say for LNG is that they're still up in gold. They have assist advantage in jungle. They have assist advantage in bot. This advantage in top, I think, should still be in Zika's favor after he clears out this wave. And especially for when we said, hey, a lot of this, the presence of this comp comes online later. Scout is going to be fine. But a lot of the presence of LNG's comp comes out later when Top Esports are trying to funnel in onto Gala, and he has the mobility to escape. And Zika is now a force that's kind of pushing the Gragas out of lane. I feel like the fact that they're still up in gold is still a pretty good sign for LNG.
Yeah, certainly is. As Gala will be able to finish his tower off and get even further ahead in gold. As Zika under the tower. No, the minion's still going, though. It means Zika will walk away with his life. Has to use the ultimate, but it's traded for the cask. So, all things considered, Wayward not getting what he wanted out of that one.
Had he gotten the Everfrost to land, maybe would have been able to get a bit more right because minions then go down faster. like maybe gets at least one turret shot hit onto him, and Wayward feels more confident to follow up, but not going to happen at the end of the day. And it's actually Wayward and Top Esports whose team is actually going to angle for the first turret. LNG just opting to give this one up by moving Gala and Hung to the mid lane. Looks like they want to be the team to try to get that Herald. But the fact that they haven't even started up, it might give TS time to get up here.
Yeah, this could be, honestly, a full-on 5v5. Zika has the TP available as well as Gala trying to fight for this mid-wave. It's going to be tough, though. Rookie flashes in. Look at the combo! Gala cannot escape this one. Take it down. I'm amazed how long he survived. That was 4 people hitting him.
That was crazy, but that's also exactly what we were talking about at the start of the game, right? I feel like for LNG, the Zeri should be able to play through this composition, but if Rookie and Tian can be decisive, they can find those moments, chain their CC together, I mean, you definitely have enough damage to just take Gala down. And hell, this is early in the game, right? Like, once you get a few more items online, Gala ain't going to be surviving that long. He's going to get locked down, and he will just be dead.
Yeah, I mean, to be honest, when I saw this composition, I thought in my head, I didn't say it on broadcast because it sounded a little in my head, but I thought about maybe Gala needs to go for like Merc Treads, honestly, with the Lissandra and the amount of follow-up to that Lissandra. I guess he will have, he'll probably have a QSS later, maybe I'll have a Mikhail's from Hung, so perhaps you can just get away with that. And like the attack speed boots are so necessary, but maybe you just need to be able to survive the CC. Bit of damage onto JackeyLove, but not a whole lot.
I also think it'll be a lot better for him, like, once we actually do get into group scenarios, right? And now Top Esports can't just focus on getting on top of Gala. They have to worry about, like, Scout coming in with Tibbers and Tarzan resets. So as the game goes on, I think he should be fine in terms of the survivability to come through. And look at the vision control coming out. Especially on top side for LNG, doing a great job of controlling that one. But Gala might be punished again.
Gala has flash. The Everfrost is there. Exhaust cleanse the knock up from the Wild Growth, and this time they get Hung too. It's a bonus on the back of it. The kitty cat taken out of the equation. And it will be LNG getting a tower at the top side, but they might just trade it for their mid-tier 1.
I think just great reads by TS, right? They see how aggressively and far forward Scout and Zika are playing on side lanes. So Esports are like, okay, these guys are playing so far forward, Tarzan has to be around one of these two laners. They kind of sack one side, go for a play towards mid, and Gala's just playing so far forward in lane. It really does feel like he's helping make their job easier, but it's all coming from Top Esports recognizing that LNG are allocating that jungle presence towards side lanes.
Yep, the ducky there in river as Wayward just about getting around the edge of vision. And I mean, the combo is beautiful. The flash, the knockback.
And again, just look how far forward Gala was, right? Kind of skirting the edge of that upper side of the brush. Like, sure, I guess your jungler is playing up there, but your jungler is already actively at the top turret. You have no safety towards that side of river.
Yeah, so Gala, perhaps a little overzealous. And, do you know, having played Zeri Yuumi, I understand when you're a Zeri and you got a Yuumi on your shoulders, it's very easy to be overzealous because there's a lot of situations where it feels like it's impossible to be overzealous with how insanely tanky this combo is. Especially the fact that you can build like Triforce. I mean, he's not going to go for it second here, but like Titanic Hydra is an option, for God's sake. Like when you can build those kinds of items as an AD carry, yeah, you're going to feel like you can get away with anything.
Yeah, and I mean, you usually do, right? Triforce, Titans, Runons, usually kind of being the core of what we've been seeing on the Zeri.
The lawnmower, as they call it.
Yeah, and kind of taking a look across items. Both teams pretty even, right? We're looking at like 1.5 items pretty much across the board. Both support mythics as well. I mean, hell, even gold. Rookie?
Zika,
I don't know if they can actually really follow up on this.
No. Tian just going to have to blast going away. Rookie will back away as well. So no harm, no foul on that one. Zika will walk away with his life. And Tarzan and Hung move it up to the scene just to make sure nothing can kick off. Gala already on taxing duties as he started taking the camps away from Tarzan. Such is the life of a jungler that's playing with a Zeri on this team.
And it seems like he's learned, okay, I'm not going to walk up to the halfway point of my lane. I'm not going to do that. They're all going to be here. Does have his summoners available, but that really hasn't made much of a difference thus far. But it's TS, maybe try it again. I'm just say, hey, we all back up a little bit. We see if Gala will try and push this wave up. and then you go for the big play. Already doing a nice job of getting vision control towards this bot side river, which was the place that was opening up those roam avenues from TES towards mid to continuously punish Gala before.
Yeah. And I think one of the interesting things...
Oh, TP flank?
Oh, TP coming on through. They finish the tower. Gala managing to dodge the Everfrost here. Zika wants her way in. JackeyLove with the Gale Force Scout on the back line. The cask to buy space here. Top Esports in full retreat. Rookie will be sacrificed for the rest of the team to get out.
And now, where do LNG go with this? Do they feel confident enough to try to turn onto a Baron themselves? No!
They feel perhaps a little too confident there as Tarzan almost goes down, has to ult himself out to safety.
Now, I think with the health that's been chunked out, definitely not going to be able to try to bait a fight anymore. We'll see if Zika just by happenstance ends up running you. Does not.
Okay, he gets out.
Doesn't run into Tian. So, yeah, at the end of the day, I guess it just will end up being one kill going over to LNG. No jungle camp stolen off that. No real vision or information gained. So, for TS, you know, not too sad about losing that one.
Yeah, tense moment, but doesn't ultimately come to anything. It felt like it was a hairline away from being far more dangerous for Top Esports, but they get out in the nick of time. And I think one of the things I want to point out is that the difference in the way that Top Esports are approaching this composition versus the very similar composition that we saw from LNG, where they're actually going AP on Wayward to make sure they've got damage for these folks.
Scout with the TP flank, which is so critical, right? The vision control coming out beforehand. Great stun comes out onto Rookie. Cask going wide from Wayward, not connecting to anyone. You just have enough CC coming out with the threat of the Yuumi ult to lock Rookie in place long enough to be able to guarantee the pick. And this is where I thought, okay, are they a bit ambitious? Do they maybe try to turn on Baron? Not necessarily to take it right, but try to force the 5v4, and then just running straight into the enemy jungle and getting those health bars chunked out really just stalled any momentum.
Yeah, feels like close to beautiful from LNG, but not quite able to make it happen there. And yeah, I just want to go back to what I was saying. Like, Wayward, you would have expected him to build tank right with the way that the competition functions. Actually going for this AP Gragas, which I feel like is a bit of an LPL specialty, going for the AP Gragas pretty much no matter what. Wayward was playing tank Gragas earlier on, but deciding to be a damage threat as well. I kind of like the decision when the game plan is assassinate Zeri or lose the game.
That's what I'm going to find interesting, right? Because it definitely feels like any game with Zeri is that, and I feel like Top Esports, I like the read on that. But do you then have to worry about Tarzan or Zika popping off? Because LNG now being engaged on.
Well, that's 50 gold into the pockets of Top Esports. It costs them a Cyclone, but hey, we'll take 50 gold. I'd
and a
take 50
TP.
gold.
TP by Rookie being used, so like sure they've unsealed Spellbook, so he'll still be able to find something meaningful, but definitely would have liked that. Not gonna have as much pressure in sides, and with Dragon coming up in 40 seconds, Black Cleaver being finished by both jugglers. Yeah. I think this is setting up for a potentially pretty saucy 5v5.
Yeah, look at Scout's inventory as well. Just finished that death cap on this recall. Has a stopwatch. This is you see Scout cracking his neck in the camera as well. He knows how big of a spike he's just hit. There is massive damage available on that Timbers. If I'm not mistaken, it's the highest scaling AP ability in the entire game. So now with the death cap, he's going to be kind of monstrous.
And I just love how far forward they're playing. Tarzan right there trying to angle, but it sets up for the rest of LNG to walk into river and get vision. Oh, Rookie, you gotta be careful.
Oh, no. Flashed on, does have his own flash and has exhaust available as well as Zika tries to escape. JackeyLove just running at Zika, gets frozen up. Moonlight Vigil comes on in, but they can't find the kill. That's on cooldown now as Wayward goes in. Tarzan knocked back, but Gala still going strong for the time being. Tian gets the Cyclone, then Gale falls forward, but Gala escapes. And now the turnaround from LNG. Health bar solo. Scout goes in, but they don't have the damage. Resets coming on through as Zika finds Rookie. Tarzan wants a bit more, but JackeyLove still red and white. So many shurikens will be forced away. It's 2 for 0.
And we saw it right there, Bunch. LNG, you have multiple huge damage threats you have to worry about. It's not only Gala. The resets coming out from the Viego, the Jacks. Oh, Scout.
Scout trying to find pick onto Mark. I don't think he realized there was 2 people there.
But hey, with the death cap, you hit it like, I mean, even he is someone who you have to respect. That can take you down. Even Tibbers right there, really chunking Mark is LNG, they're all low, but you know they're going to be able to take this Baron. TS, as a consolation prize, looks like they will be putting themselves on soul points. So if they can survive the onslaught that LNG are about to put on them with this Baron, at least potentially set up well for the future.
Yeah, I mean, Rookie sort of getting just caught out alone here. Maybe he was looking for a flank of his own.
Yeah, not a great game from Rookie so far overall, and I was surprised at how much they invested into trying to kill the Jacks.
Yeah.
Now a lot of key abilities down. They're still looking to follow forward despite the fact that people are so people are so kind of spread out. And them continue to go in. Gala gets away. Sure, JackeyLove will flash after the Tibbers comes out too, but look, Tarzan now gets the resets coming through. Zika having the Yumi on top of him can just run forward. The multi-dimensionalness, which isn't a word, the many dimensions of LNG's comp kind of rearing their head in this game.
Yeah. I'm going to be honest, I felt like Wayward was robbed there as well. Like, that cask knocking Gala directly towards the team, and just there's like a jut out of the wall. In fact, he didn't go over that jut out. It feels kind of rough for Wayward, but, you know, does happen. And that's one of the rough things about playing Gragas, honestly. Like, the ultimate very often doesn't quite work how you're wanting it to work. It's very easy to just have it a pixel off and it ruins everything. So it's like we were talking about earlier, Sion versus Gragas is very much down to how you pull off those ultimates.
100%. Not every, you know, Gragas ultimate's gonna throw them into the Veigar cage or the Sleepy Trouble bubble or whatever it is, and you're gonna have that sick highlight that you can show to everyone in the world. They'll be like, oh, we've seen this 100 times, and then just move on.
Have you seen those? You see the Gragas montages where it's like full AP Gragas? They throw a barrel somewhere else in the lane, then ult them onto it, and it explodes. Man, it's so sick.
Those
so
are very clean. It's actually one of the most visually pleasing combos to see in the game.
It's also just completely styling on someone. Like, you're fully manipulating everything about the play. Like, it's like you're reading the play before it happens. There's just something really satisfied about that. Back to the game though. I can't believe it's 4-4. I feel like with the amount of fighting we've seen in this game, I'm actually kind of surprised there's only 8 kills on the scoreboard. But we are getting towards that late game point. 3 items on either AD carry. 30 seconds left on the battle to get anything else out aside from a TP from Rookie. And it looks like the next objective in 2.5 minutes will be that dragon. It'll be sold for top esports if they can get it. But you know LNG won't let that go without fighting. They are 5,000 gold up at this point.
Kind of starting to look ahead towards that time, right? Flashes are going to be up across the board, which, you know, is going to be great for both sides. But looking at the fact that LNG still have those stopwatches that they're sitting on. 3 unused stopwatches are going to have so much potential to play make, get in there, reposition, to where top esports won't really have that same thing available. Rookie's still sitting on his. Looks like he's very close to finishing off his Zonias, but did just go for a reset. We'll see if he's able to pick that one up in time. And then what JackeyLove's going to be able to get under his belt before another fight comes through as well. And even on top of that, LNG having things like TPs. Rookie's still down, so even then you could see the side lanes still being in a good position for LNG, which allows him to go for this evade, steal away camps, get vision down.
Certainly does. As, it does feel like we're entering the calm before the storm, if you will. The waters are quiet for now, but they're a little too quiet. It's top esports moving up to the top side, trying to get vision control of Baron out from the top side of River, which is not something you see too often. Perhaps looking for a pick onto Zika, who is moving into the lane. The recalls should be cancelled as they spot him, and Zika goes in. Zika falls for the play, and a TP comes out from Scout as well. Ski 4, you can see Viego moving over. Zika has to get damage done. Scout has to get damage done, but they're surviving. Zika's actually out, and Scout with a stopwatch, surviving for now. Scout goes down, and now the play really explodes. Tarzan on the front line as Tian uses his own stopwatch. Wayward too turns golden as JackeyLove still going, but Wayward is down. Tian should fall. No, it's a clone. They chase for more as Gala arrives. The lightning zapping across the team. JackeyLove goes down. The resets for Tarzan. That's a double and a double. LNG double their way to victory.
And I mean, they just keep running them down, right? The Zeri Yumi combo, the Viego able to follow up with the resets. And with these death timers, looks like they just want to push through and try to end.
They might just be able to do it. It's 30 seconds on Rookie, 20 seconds on the rest of the players. I don't think Mark can defend this by himself, and I don't think Mark thinks he can defend this by himself. He can't even clear the wave, and with Gala on the Zeri, you know that they can take these towers. 5 seconds on Tian, the tower already in shambles. LNG have done it. It's a 2-1 victory. The chillin' are chilling in this one, as LNG go 2-1 over top Esports.
Very tense series, very close games. Honestly, still impressed by what I've seen from both teams so far. I will say, still not a fan of leaving Zeri through without having some kind of, you know, idea to be able how to combat it, not allow it to get to a point where it just feels like later in the game. Again, are there tools that can shut it down like the Lasange? You got to try to burst out, yes. But it just feels like you have to be doing so much more than the enemy that it just doesn't feel like a worthwhile trade-off, right? We even saw in that last fight, like, Rookie gets there, he flash ults to Zeri, and it's like, oh, wait, your AD carry's already dead. So what damage do you really have to be able to bring her down? And you just don't. So great